The 2019 season of the Australian Ultimate League would not be possible without the support of our league partners. Today's match is brought to you by the following team sponsors.
So what are some key strategies you're going to take into this next game?
So I think in this game there's a couple of players that might be quite dominant. So we really want to try and shut those players down. So that'll be having the right matchups, playing really shut down D on them and stopping that short ball game because they have some, we believe they probably have some quick movements.
Yeah. And then what is like the message you're wanting to tell your team before this game to make them play their best?
So I think on offense, it's probably about, we want the team to take really good options, play our game, and use the space as well. That's something else we want to do.
With no training, how have you built team chemistry throughout this games?
Yeah, Perth is always going to be up against it because we're from such a diverse background in different areas. We really tried to pick a team that we knew that stylistically would gel strongly, that would be able to play fast and confidently, and hopefully we'll go out and do that.
Nice. And what do you think your biggest challenge will be in this next game?
I think Canberra's got a real wealth of experience, especially on the guys' side, and on the girls' side it's all about that blistering speed. So trying to make the girls think a little bit more and the guys have to play a little bit faster, put people out of their comfort zones, that's how we're going to win.
Alright, great, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Australian Ultimate League. It is Canberra Freeze taking on the Perth Power, West Coast taking on the East. And looks like it's going to be a good one. My name is Max Stenstrom, joined in the booth by Sarah Crossy. As the clouds gather overhead and the skies become grey, what can we expect from this one?
Well, I'm expecting to see a little bit of spark, a bit of life on the field, I think. We've got Canberra, very experienced male lineup in particular. There's some definite speed from the women. And on the Perth side, I think dynamic's the best way to describe them. They're the youngest team. There's no one over the age of 30. And I think they're going to roll the dice here. And I think we're going to see a bit of a spectacle.
One player that I'm particularly excited to see, and I think probably fair to say most people will be excited to see, is Rachel Turton.
Yes.
Who in many ways is the wild card on this roster and in this competition more generally. Hasn't played Ultimate in Australia outside of the Under-24 Championships last year in Perth. Not many people know what to expect from her.
And am I right in saying she was European Youth Player of the Year?
She was, I believe.
And here she goes. She's got the disc in hand right now, and boom! Lutz for Lavis. He wasn't looking for her though, and that's turned over to Ely.
Oh, and you can see she's already hunting the block to get that one back. right on Simone Ryan's hip. She comes under. Copland, his throw gets cut out by Kath O'Neill.
Oh, Kath O'Neill, great intercept, but then just throws it away in the direction of Abby Dawson. Bit of early nerves, I think, in this game.
Inside shot from Jessup. Gets things moving for Perth. Ely out in front of Lim.
Yeah, too far. Well, it might be which team can settle the fastest, I think, as to the early glories in this first set. Matt Dow bringing up the disc. Passes off to O'Neill.
To Lavis. He has Dawson going deep. The throw doesn't come. Handler's content to swing so far.
Yeah, just Dow and Dawson, the only remainders from the Canberra Freeze last year AUL. Lavis again the target. This time Spielman hits him in stride in the end zone. And Canberra, they started the point on offense and they finish it on offense to take the first point of the game. Goal to Tim Lavis. And in terms of who they're missing this season, it'd be remiss not to mention Jonathan Holmes, the sole leader of Canberra. He's over in New Zealand at the moment, and it's very befitting that his brother from another mother, Tim Lavis, steps in his place. I think they were both at Newcastle University together, shared a house together, rode trolleys together. So it's quite befitting that Tim Lavis is in the green for Canberra Freeze, and he's already making his mark with the first goal.
And he's certainly not the only import or out-of-town addition that Canberra's made this season. Coming from a far afield as Townsville, Scott Perry, their draft pick, used to more humid and warm climates than these, but equally Gav Moore coming down the road from Sydney, Cal Spielman and Kath O'Neill also making the journey.
It's gone up. Gav Moore gets the D, picks up the disc quickly.
Scott Perry shoots inside forehand to Monty.
Gonna sit up.
And beautifully read by Hannah Monty.
It straight out of the disc. Out of the hand, rather. That's a score. It's 2-0. Yes, Scott Perry, it's definitely, I think Townsville's minimum is warmer than Melbourne's maximum today. But he looks like he's ready to play.
It's an unconventional throw choice as well. The inside-out forehand from that side.
No, I like it. I like it. I like it already.
Oh, it was great fun to watch. Most players would have opted with the backhand, but Perry playing it up for the cameras, throws the forehand, and Monty does well to adapt to these conditions. We've seen a lot of players jump early, try and snag it at its highest, when in these kinds of just slight downwind conditions, they need to run out their cuts a little further to get that downward huck, which is exactly what Hannah Monty did.
Andrew Jackson with the disc, putting it up. He's a Canberra local, but back from a 2-year stint or so over in the UK. So making his first appearance in the AUL.
Played a lot of
Simone Ryan's just been left to go long, but Annie Jessup can't take advantage of it.
Another cheap turnover from Perth. 2 miscues on the throw. One by Copland and one by Jessup. And it's Jackson that'll get things back underway. Swings to Erin Wallace.
Who gets on her knees to bring it down. She'll hit back Andrew Jackson in a very powerful position. And he puts it up to young Perry.
Oh, and Hannah Monty's going to get another goal.
Yes, wow, the Canberra offense is
clicking right now.
Clicking.
Hannah Monty is feeling it today. Get your popcorn ready, ladies and gentlemen. The Freeze is on fire. And they're making things work.
lot of experience on this Canberra team, as I said, particularly in the men's. In fact, I think the 2008 Dingoes might have called and they want their players back. But so far they're matching it with the youth of Perth.
2004 Dingoes. 2000 Dingoes, I think, just rang and want Matt Dow back. But they've got the full range. Scott Perry pulling on the green and gold in just 6 weeks' time for the under-24s team, the Goannas.
Oh!
As Alex Gann fires to Mazurai a little far out in front.
Yes, throws some beautiful flat throws, but sometimes you need to put a little bit of sit on them. Perry straight back under.
Adelaide Dennis holds on under pressure. Perry.
Oh, big bid by McInnes. But Monty, unfazed, dishes it back to Gav Moore. Great defense by Carlo. What has he got?
And does Perry hold on to that? No, does not.
Well, great team defense, particularly from Carlo on Andrew Jackson in the dump position. Forces a less than ideal squeeze throw from Gav Moore. And there's a turn. What can Perth do? They need to get on the scoreboard here.
Saw a great team defense from Perth last time.
Here it goes up.
Monty
Carlo.
in pursuit, making up the distance too.
She's got some speed on her.
She's got wheels.
Lovely, give and go, Carlo. Congratulations on that point. He got it done at the other end on defense and getting it done up the other end to score the point. 3-1. Perth needed that. They really needed that. They didn't want to go down 4-0 against this Canberra team. Coached by Lorna Barr and Pete Hempel.
Both very experienced, bring a wealth of ultimate knowledge to a team that's already got plenty of it amongst its ranks. Of course, Pete coaching the 2012 Dingoes to some success.
Yeah, and then the 2016 Flying Foxes as well. So
To some even more success, to some silverware.
Yeah.
That
So
team.
he's no stranger to coaching at the highest levels. So it's great to see him part of the AUL this season.
Dow finds Wallace, finds Turton. Perth in this zone. Dow and Dawson.
Yeah, I don't know if this is the right strategic play defensively from Perth. Canberra look pretty comfortable.
It's just difficult playing a zone with 6. It's hard with 7, and when you take one player out, there's just so much more space to cover.
Oh, and that's very well worked between the whole team, really.
And Lavis finds Dow.
10 different ultimate clubs represented on the Canberra Freeze, which you might think they might have some unity issues, but Lavis, Spielman, Dow, Jackson,
Wallace, Turton. I mean,
well, I was going to say, and more, all represented in the 2016 Dingoes and maybe even the 2012 as well. So lots of connections there. And for the women, you know, Hannah Monty reunited with Erin Dowell and Kath O'Neill, who all played Rogue together. And those connections matter. If you know how people cut, what they like to break with, it's valuable knowledge as to how you play your game. And we're underway again.
Perth not short on some of that chemistry between some of their players either. A couple of the Sydney siders having played a fair bit together. And of course all the Perth locals very familiar with each other. Mazurai and O and Ely. having played Sublime together. Ely also some time with Colony where he's would have got used to
Murray Young
Alex
was
Shepherd.
free, but Mazurai with the lurking Hannah Monty looks her off.
It's Chung on this near side. Very powerful thrower, very agile.
She's going to try it out.
Kylo on Gav Moore. Not the aerial battle you'd think Perth would want to throw to very often.
No, and I think Perth have to take their chances. They have to risk their arm to some extent, but that's not the risk you want to take.
They've got to be calculated. And that may have been that miscalculation. Gives this Adelaide, Canberra D-line rather another opportunity. And another chance for Hannah Monty to light up the end zone. Perry comes under and Monty goes deep. Heaps of separation, though she's a long way from the thrower. Big gainer, but people in the way in the lane. Has to dump to Jackson.
Oh, just out of reach from an outstretched Dennis.
Chung finds
This
Mazurai.
time Chung makes no mistake.
But Canberra's D-line not short on opportunities to convert. Generating the turnovers pretty reliably. Not consistently hitting their stride offensively, that defensive unit, just yet. Slight miscommunication between Jackson and Dennis as to the intended target of that throw. Maybe caused hesitation in the turnover.
Gee, Mazurai is he's just a player that does his job out there. And as a coach, it's exactly what you want. Not flashy, just cuts into the right places, moves the disc very intelligently. Really solid player. And it's Alex Shepherd to lead down the D-line for the Perth Power.
Looked like Canberra was trying to set up an isolated Abby Dawson out in a lane.
Oh!
But the zone look finally generates some rewards for Perth.
Look, I was telling them to change it, but they obviously know better. That's a nice little D from Ely, and Jessup just puts it in the outside to Shepherd. No one's moving. Shepherd says, I'll just hammer it in then. Shepherd to Ely. They really built a beautiful relationship, probably over in Colony, but they're continuing it over here in Perth with their second AUL season appearance together.
And Perth, after going down 4-1, get a couple in a row, pull things back to 4-3, and it's certainly game on. 5 minutes.
Nice, it's coming to a good, exciting close of the set here. Can Canberra hold their nerve, put in their O points and put the pressure back on Perth, or can Perth make things that little bit closer and get a big D point here?
Matt Dow behind this disc. Him and O'Neill, I can't imagine they've really ever played together before this season, but chemistry.
Oh, they're switching back out of their zone to a match defense look. Dawson currently completely unmarked. But it's the curse of an unmarked player just turning it over to Spielman, and here's Perth's opportunity to level this thing up.
Yeah, totally unforced error. Perth looking to punish, break. Backhand from Murray Young. You see Mazurai's acceleration off the mark. First couple of steps.
It's again.
Can't get the break out to Mazurai. O goes across field, out in front of Alex Gann.
Ken's going to jump it in. Finish it off with what the old school kids would call a Sally Baston roll. And it's 4 apiece here.
This game got very exciting very quickly.
Sure did. It looked like Canberra were just going to run away with it early in this set. But the zone and the transition it's causing Canberra a little bit of concern. I am surprised they've got Kath O'Neill back handling. I like her as a mid player. She's got speed to burn. I'm just not sure that's where you want to have her. And instead they've opted to put Lavis downfield. I'd be tempted to pull Lavis back into that handling position with Dow and give some space to your women, because they've got very fast women. Dawson, O'Neill and Turton. Yeah, I think I'd like my chances against the Perth women if I was Canberra, but I'm just a commentator.
That's right.
Oh,
didn't get the call up to coach.
Didn't get the coaching call up. Perth, just a simple execution error drop there from Gav Moore right on the end zone. And Perth take the lead on this set.
5-4 to Perth.
It's good to see a little zip out of the Perth kids.
And, you know, there was lots of theorising about what this new format would do and what it'd mean to early leads, and would teams just fold and roll over if they got down 2 or 3-0. Perth clearly missed the memo on that, as they went down 3-0 in this one and have pulled it back to lead 5-4.
Here we go. There's got to be just minutes remaining in this first set.
Gavmore and Dow and O'Neill across to Dennis. Canberra playing it safe and controlled, and that's when they've looked their best. Dennis, big pivot, can't get past Gan.
Back to O'Neill.
Breaks the mark to Turton, good hands.
Gets the touch on it, but it's not enough to deviate it from its path.
Dow went to the end zone. I would have loved to see a pass go up.
Dennis, O'Neill, she puts her hands up, she's open. Moore sends it that way. Wow. What do I know indeed? Kath O'Neill, beautiful control down that field, ends up with a really nice inside out forehand straight down the line to Lavis for the score.
They keep it even, but as the clock ticks down, Perth are in the driver's seat. They are trading up. It is Canberra who will have to get a break to regain both control and the win if they want it.
So if we're tied at the end of when time cap goes, what happens in that situation, Max?
They've finished the point, and it's that simple.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Winner takes all.
Winner takes all. Recognising the gravity of the situation, Pete Hempel and Lorna Barr have brought a few extra helpers onto this defensive line.
Gav Moore asked to do a 3rd point in a row.
He's a defensive powerhouse.
Sitting back on Ely at the moment.
And there are a few smarter defenders playing the game right now than Gavin Moore. So good at not only covering his player, but contributing to every other person's defensive assignment somehow. As he takes the Ely matchup. Hammer.
Oh, big hammer to a very wide open Simone Ryan. Ah, that's lovely. A beautiful hammer from Alex Shepherd. Simone Ryan, she said one of her strengths is getting into dangerous spaces, e.g. deep. I think we've just seen her execute that right there.
She's a big target.
She sure is, and she's fast. She's very athletic for a tall girl.
And just like that, the first set is wrapped up. Canberra had such a controlling position on that set for so long, and then just at the death, coughed up a couple of cheap breaks, and may look back at this and rue their missed opportunities. Perth take the first set, and as they take a break, so will we, as we get a word from our sponsors. Welcome back to the second set of the Australian Ultimate League as Canberra Freeze take on Perth Power. The first set was an emotional roller coaster. Canberra Freeze came out of the gates hot, went up 3-0, and then almost without realising what happened, they were down 6-5 and the set was over.
Yeah, I think one of the big question marks over this new format was if you had an early lead like that, was that it? Was it all over? Was there any room for error? And you can see there that the team has the discipline and the internal willpower to pick themselves up. Anything can happen even in this shortened format. And speaking to Coach Max Howden, he told his team before that set, let's go in with a third set mentality. We need to win. And they did just that. Well, their challenge before them is to win one of the next two to take the match. Oh, poach block from Andrew Jackson.
Moore looking to get things moving quickly. Jackson puts it out in front. And can Moore toe that in?
Yeah, I think they say yes, he can.
Jackson, a lot of faith in his Dingo teammate. Why not? Freeze. Start the second set like they started the first, in dominating style.
Yeah, they've come out hot. Can they hold it though?
Speaking to them after the first set, some of the Freeze players felt like maybe some unforced errors causing some of the issues for them, things within their control, as we see again there on the Yukon disc replay. Gav Moore's aggressive pick up and go being rewarded with a nice throw from Andrew Jackson. Ali Lim and Alex Shepherd.
It's just so casual, Alex Shepherd.
Inside forehand to Ely. To Jessup. Freeze struggling to get much pressure on.
Oh, there's a foul call on that throw.
Jessup loves that backhand, that dad barbecue backhand.
It's dangerous, isn't it? I mean, it's a beginner's dream of trying to avoid the forehand, but
It does leave the disc a little more exposed to a hand. The hammer.
oh, hammer again. Wow, it's now the Alex Shepherd Memorial Hammer Corner, that one. He's just making sure that everybody saw it. Did you get it? We got it, Alex. It'll be up on the replay shortly. Wow, one apiece.
And it's in that downwind end zone where the action's happening. The breeze has been pretty consistent so far, coming left to right on your screens.
That's a beautiful throw. Straight to goblet. Ely loves it. I'm not sure what that little celebratory hand gesture was. Something the kids do these days, but it's good to see.
And Canberra frees with the 2-4 look that quickly breaks down as the Perth zone comes into play. They've been doing this pool play transition zone pretty regularly. But Canberra very patient and comfortable, taking the easy meters where they're available.
Looks like they're transitioning out of it now, although Callan Spielman wide open. So Mazurai just leisurely finds his way up to Dow.
Matt Dow, hammer over the top. And Kyle O.
Oh, Matt
Takes
Dow says, yeah, fair play, Alex Shepherd, but I've been doing that a lot longer than you have, son. 24 years playing Ultimate. He's thrown a few of those in his time.
He was throwing hammers when Alex Shepherd was in nappies. And dishes up an absolute beauty there into that corner. Watch it on the Yukon disc replay. Sizes up the options. Sees Dawson. Credit to Kyle O for the spectacular bid.
Huge
But
bid.
the hammer was too good. Matt Dow dials up a beauty. Canberra continue to hold 2-1. Shepherd and Lim again. Out of the vertical stack. Contrasting offensive styles from both teams. And it looks like Freeze have left their Fem zone in the first set, and they're not going back to it.
Yeah, it looks like they just had a bracket on that stack from Perth. Copland, strong tape back to Lim, and she just shoots it over the top of a very tall Simone Ryan. It's a shame they couldn't put that one in. Simone Ryan, the oldest on this team at just 29. Which gives you a sense of how young this Perth Power team is.
Jackson inside to Dennis.
Oh, Colin with a very nice reactive block. Shepherd, is it going to be another hammer?
Yearly. Back to Shepherd. Yes, it is. Jackson. Can't get there.
Oh,
You almost feel Matt Dow rolling up the sleeves at the other end right now, don't you?
game on, Shepherd.
He's like, all right, we're going to dance.
Gee, that one was not quite as clinical good an option, I'd say, as the last one. But it was effective. They're on the board. It's 2-all. Here we go. We're going to have a look at it on the You Can Disc replay.
Earlier in the stall count, which is always a good sign for an aggressive shot, but pretty hotly contested. Jackson didn't have the best look at it, but was very much in the neighbourhood.
Wow, and why not throw it to your tallest receiver?
It is a pretty reliable option. Dow takes that one early. Turton looks to get things started. I was talking to her about her flight over and whether she was affected by jet lag at all before this game. She said she actually started adjusting her body clock while still over in the UK, getting up at 3 a.m. and that kind of thing, so as to minimise the effects and be able to step straight onto the field once she landed on our soil.
Well, it's great to have her. Some more international flavour. Tim Lavis floats it up to Spielman. You have to put your money on Cal and Spielman bringing it down.
And that's a trust throw.
Yeah.
That is a throw that two players who've played on the Dingoes together rely on the other one to make the play.
I think that takes us to 3-2 to Perth.
3-2 to Canberra.
3-2 to Canberra, sorry, yeah. Well, they're definitely having fun out there, the players, but I don't think we should misinterpret fun for a lack of competitiveness.
Oh, you can see Mazurai. He's right on Cal and Spielman's hip the whole way. Lavis not really requiring any separation to let that one fly. Just putting it in the spot that he felt Spielman was able to get there first, and he does just that.
Beautiful vision to hit Annie Jessup on the sideline. Back to Ely, no mark as Dennis closes in. Round to Copland, who has to do a lot of work but keeps it up off the ground. Oh, Alex Shepherd.
Big bid from Peter Ely.
It's a huge bid. But just out of reach. Got to get back to the hammers, son.
He looks a bit cheeky, and we'll see this on this Yukon disc replay. He looks a bit cheeky after getting up because he knows he wasn't going to get there. But he's also very aware that he looked good on the camera.
Yeah, Shepherd, what's with these? What's with these forehands, son?
Dow.
Well, she's certainly got a big range of throw. Oh, Ely just picks that one off.
And he'll
Puts
find
it
Ryan.
into Ryan.
And that's the break.
Oh, that's a big error from Wallace.
Apologies, that's not a break. That's the hold for Perth, but it took a little while to get there. A couple of turns on the way. And it's 3 apiece. It's been a much closer second set in these early portions than the first set was.
Yes, little. I'm not sure if they had set up in a zone or whether that was just a poach, but regardless, it's giving Canberra some trouble and more than I'd expect. This zoney, poachy defensive look from Perth. You'd think with the calibre and experience of players that they've got that they'd be able to throw their way through it fairly comfortably, but all power to the power coaches.
Dawson gets things moving underneath.
Whoa, back to Dal, and Carlo grabs it out of the air, snaffles it.
Dow. He led the team last year in blocks.
McInnes. Oh! Throws a signature Murray Young throw right back at her. The bladey forehand, round it goes for the score. Oh, gee, this is where in a standard game of Ultimate, I think the coach would probably be calling a timeout.
Unfortunately, no timeouts allowed in the AUL. So with 8 minutes left in this set, power lead 4-3. Canberra struggling to put together a full 20 minutes of focus and execution so far. Conceding the first break of this set, their O-line will remain on the field unchanged.
They really need to knuckle down to it now with 8 minutes to go in the set. Or else this one could slip away, and then that's the match being already 1 set down.
I wonder how much the dynamic of not having an active sideline and not having a lot of voices on either side of the field impacts these players out there. Do you have thoughts on that, Kelsey?
Oh, look, for sure it makes a difference. And I think it really then shows which players have the internal mental strength and fortitude to pick themselves up from their pitfalls and to internally motivate themselves.
Maybe Dawson does well to dig that one out and keep it alive. Dumps to O'Neill.
She's been marked by Coughlin. Peely is poaching in that area. Gav Moore picks it up.
Gets the scuba out to O'Neill. Dow gets his hands on it again, a metre or two out.
Oh!
Jams one into Lavis. Not the prettiest throw, but Lavis sticks out his hand behind him and plucks it out of the air.
Yeah, it sticks.
Canberra stop the bleeding and right the ship just a little bit.
Yeah, puts the pressure right back on Perth now. As we get down to the business end of the set, in the bottom of the second. Here's that scuba to O'Neill on the Eucandix replay. Back to Dow, who puts it out just behind Lavis, but he's good enough to leave his arm there while his body continues forward for the goal.
And they get it done. Have to grit the teeth. But it's 4 apiece. And they're now playing upwind offense.
Ooh,
oh, gets a touch on that as
legs.
it nutmegs him. And Freeze bring their own zone look out of the bag of tricks. Mazurai.
Whoa, Murray Young good enough to pull that one in. Carlo puts it up to Mazurai with Moore. You'd have to put your money on Moore. But is there a call
He's clutching
there?
his shoulder.
There
No.
was a little bit of contact. I don't know if you call it incidental or I think Mazurai's going to say, I think you pulled me down. Let's have a look now.
A little bit of hip and shoulder, no doubt. There's definitely contact there. Nothing that I feel is unusual or unordinary in a hotly contested aerial battle.
Very hard for Mazurai to have perspective on that too. He's looking up at the disc.
And we'll see if the game advisors, as they get involved, will be able to hear what goes on.
We've just lost audio at a critical time there.
At least from this angle, on the replay, it looked like it was reasonably clean to me. Both players going up.
Uncontested foul.
Uncontested foul. Well,
Here you go.
their call to make. And it will be Mazurai's disc. That could be a momentum shifter.
Yeah, that's a big point. Let's have another look at it.
Looked like they both moved into each other as they went up to the apex of their peak of their jumps. Mazurai will walk it back. He's on the end zone line. Murray Young on the open side, marked by Aaron Wallace. But it's Ash McInnes who gets open on
Easy
Hannah Monty.
like. Well, it's 5-4 to Perth. Pressure swings back on to Canberra with just 3 minutes to go. They need this point. They need to stay in touch.
And it's moments like that, borderline calls like that, that people look back on in future times and reflect on and wonder whether something went begging. But
it's what makes our game great, that's settled and in the end uncontested between the players, with just a little assistance, maybe a different perspective from the game advisors. But certainly could be a game-changing moment there.
well, Canberra will have to not only put in this offensive point, but then break immediately following if they are to win this game, considering where we are at with time cap. Dawson puts one out in front of Turton. She'll have to work well to keep it in.
She's done well to get up and keep that in. Puts it down the line to Lavis. Dawson streaming down. He looks that option off, comes back to Matt down the center of the field. And Dawson, rewarded for her work there, came down this near sideline, didn't get the disc, cut all the way across, and receives the goal from Matt Dowell.
And
we're 5 apiece here.
5 apiece. And
1.5 minutes to go.
almost certainly universe
Here we
point, you'd have to
go.
think. Right now.
1.5 minutes for Canberra to keep this game alive. Well, you have to say about this new format, it's nothing but exciting.
It's true. If they do manage to sneak in a quick one, there will be another point to play after that. They'll only have a 1-point lead, and therefore the other team will get another opportunity.
So up it goes, and it's up to Carlo and Eunice Chong. Looks like they're playing hard match D, and they've got the turn.
Oh, here's a question. Does Canberra try and slow it down, let time cap go, and then win? No.
Up to, oh my goodness. It's the other end of the field. Is there a call?
Same matchup. These two
Gav's
just love chatting.
just pointing up the other end of the field saying, well, I'm just calling what you called, mate.
Yeah, you owe me one, right? Don't think that's how it works.
Oh, the game advisor is in. Hopefully we'll be able to listen to what they've got to say. It's uncontested. Wow.
What a great example of spirit, even in these high stakes moments.
Gavmore taps it in.
Sneaks one into Andrew
Sneaks
Jackson.
into Andrew Jackson. Wow. It's 6-5 to Canberra. I think we've got time.
We're just trying to seek confirmation on whether time went before that goal was caught or after the goal was
I think
caught.
it's gone after the point. So what happens now? It's 6-5.
And time went after the point, which means we will play one more.
And what happens in the circumstance that Canberra score this point? Is that game?
That is
set?
game. That is set.
And if Perth score it and we even up the scores again.
Game, set, match, largely speaking, or they'll have the first two.
Or if it's 6-all, if Perth score,
Yes,
then we
6-all,
go again.
One more. Indeed. It'll be universe point, and then if Perth put it away, it'll be game, set, and they'll have 2 out of 3.
Here we go. Strap yourselves in, ladies and gentlemen at home. This could be very interesting. Can Perth hold their nerve? They looked good in this set. Canberra just always looked like they were pegging from behind, but they've had a huge point.
They will need to break now, though.
Ely looking up, throws a beautiful long throw to Simone Ryan.
Needed to leave her feet earlier, almost
Gee.
caught in that indecision about whether she should bid or not.
Oh, you would have put the house on her catching that. Yes. Needed to go earlier. But Ely asking a lot of her. She had a big separation.
You almost feel like if he'd thrown it 2 or 3 inches further, she would have bid early, caught it no problems. Because it was so close, she thought she could
in
get there
two
without
minds.
leaving the feet.
Well, can Canberra put it away now? Oh, Scott Perry does well.
2 or 3 bubbles. He shoots,
AJ
fires on an edge.
puts up a blade. It's
Bounces
Simone
off the-
Ryan. Well done. To get that back, get the block back. That was a huge defense, and her players on the sideline certainly appreciate it. We've still got a live one here.
Perry on the mark of Shepherd. Ely out in the lane. He'll be first to move.
Ely's going long, but Moore's on him. Surely Shepherd won't throw it.
Surely he will.
Oh!
And Ely had a
he had
hand.
it.
A full hand on the disc.
Max Howden's thrown his head off in disbelief. He thought that was goal. Oh, gee. Maybe a bit casual.
Holy dooly, it is fireworks right now in the second set.
Well, Canberra get another shot of taking out this set.
Finds Jackson at the back. Swings to Perry. Has O'Neill up line, doesn't want it.
How does Perry go in a pressure moment like this? No problems. Gets it back to Andrew Jackson. He's streaming downfield. Hannah Monty free, as you'll see.
And passes it straight to Peter Ely
She was
on the
looking
halfway
cross-field,
line.
and how times Peter Ely just pops up out of nowhere like that to grab the D. Perth, another shot. Third time lucky will it be?
Simone Ryan now, 5 metres out, forehand inside.
Beautiful!
Typically Scotland. We're going to Universe Point.
We're in Universe Point. There's players on their haunches. They're sucking it in. Luckily, they've got a sub. A
Freeze.
fresh team as they come on. Who's it going to be?
And it looks like Andrew Jackson's hobbling as well, which will be a loss for
gee.
Canberra. I imagine they might have wanted him on this Universe O-line.
Oh, gee. Let's see as we look as Alex Shepherd throws that to Ryan, whether we can see what happened to Jackson. Just, looks like.
An ankle, perhaps.
It does. From the way he's walking, it does look like an ankle, but nothing on the vision to show that moment of injury. Oh, maybe he's pointing to a quad. Oh, gee, that's a big loss. But
And they bring Gav Moore back for more on this offensive line.
here we go.
I expected to see Spielman out
O'Neill,
there.
Turton, Dawson, Dow, Lavis, and more. Can they hold their nerve? Not many options. Lavis to Moore, down the sideline to Dawson. She continues it on.
Too far out in
Just
front.
Too far to O'Neill. Gives Perth the disc and a chance at glory and the match.
6 apiece. They're playing for all the marbles right now.
Oh, gee, they just tried to jam that down that sideline. Just one pass too far.
It's a tough angle. Straight down, in line with the receiver's cut.
Carlo brings it up to the line. Mr. Reliable, Mazerai. There to bail the throw out. And he's going to punt that up in a very ugly throw. Dawson brings down. Another trailing Lavis arm keeps it alive. Can Canberra punch it in here?
Matt Dow with the disc in the centre, surveys his options, finds Dawson.
To Dawson.
She'll send it back to Dow. Turton comes near side.
They're in a stack, no one's cutting. Here's the Dow hammer to Lavis. He's...
High release forehand to Gavin Moore!
Moore!
And the Canberra Freeze take out the second
That's
set.
a set. We've got a live one here. One set apiece.
We'll be going the full distance on this one
Ah.
as they share the candy after the first 2 sets.
Well, I just had an inkling with this match that it might give a little spark. And it's all live and well going into this third set.
So as the players take a breather, so will we. Don't go anywhere as there's more action from the Australian Ultimate League. Welcome back to the Australian Ultimate League. Jeez, do we have a match on our hands in front of us right now across here. It's Canberra Freeze, it's Perth Power, and it's one set apiece. And both of these teams are going all in for this last set.
Yeah, I'm sure we've lost no viewers for the culmination of what's been a fascinating contest.
It's been back and forth. Perth got the first one after a big comeback in the first set. The second one went down to the wire on Universe Point before Canberra Freeze closed it out. And now playing for all the marbles in the third.
Yeah, Max Howden telling his team that they've got this in the bag, that Canberra are losing steam.
That's a big confident call,
It's a big call
from the Perth coach.
But he thinks his team, as long as they just take the right options, they're going to close this one out. Any words from the Canberra team?
I did have an ear into the Canberra camp in that break. And Tim Lavis, we spoke about him earlier, who's taken on this spiritual leader role that Jono Holmes has had in the past, said to his team, he said, I don't think we've clicked yet, and it's just a matter of time. How about we do it now as Rachel Turton goes to ground? So he's asking them to really click and find their synergy and their chemistry. As Callum Spielman on the receiving end of a laser from Matt Dowell.
That's a pretty clicky offense point right there.
It's working. It's working. They've clicked. Matt Dowell getting a little fired up on that one. Nothing like a bit of contact on an up line cut to get your blood boiling and the juices flowing. Canberra 1-0 in this third.
Yes, Tim Lavis, no stranger to talking in circles. He will be firing his troops up as much as he can. The question is, who's doing it on the Perth side? Or do they just answer with their legs right now? Their youthful legs.
No doubt they're the younger side. We'll see if in this back end of this match it makes a difference. Spielman with the big pull back down the other way. Oh, and did that graze a shoelace from Carlo.
Oh, he's bringing it up to the front of the end zone.
So I guess not. Perth in a split stack, T-stack formation. McInnes head down to the end zone. Late shot from Alex Gann.
Wallace let Murray Young get very deep, but they've overshot her. And Gavin Moore runs to the disc. Hits Perry, who's played very well. Has not been overshadowed at all with the competition he's playing with.
Gav Moore fires a laser beam.
Forehand to Monty.
Wowee! Gavin Moore, defensive receiver, steps up as a handler on the offensive side of the disc when they need him. Big time shot taker from the brick mark.
Yeah, that was a great shot. Just set up beautifully. And when you're throwing to a receiver of Monty's speed and caliber, you've got room for error, but gee, he didn't need it. That was just beautifully weighted. Bodes well for his future retirement into an offensive handler position.
It's where most players end up. And to be fair, Gav Moore has resisted that temptation far longer than he has any real right to. Seems to never slow down a step.
Yeah, I think his future ultimate goal was to not slow down.
Doing pretty well so far.
Yeah, good luck to him. With a third kid on the way, I'm not sure how long that will continue, but best of luck.
Defensive line will stay on the field. Feeling good after that break. Scott Perry turns on the Jets to chase that pull. Ali Lim's throw a little far in front of Ryan. And Moore rushes to it again. This seems to be a conscious choice from Freeze. Don't let the defense set up. Get the disc moving. Attack before the opposition can really get a sense of what's happening.
Yeah, they've really lifted their tempo, haven't they, on their offense.
You can see Moore's playing with some intent.
Oh, he wants it.
3-0 for Canberra in this third. We'll see whether they've learnt the lessons of the first set where they got to a similar lead before coughing it up. Andrew Jackson went down with a hamstring and calf cramp late in that second set.
Yeah, I mean,
it looks like he'll retake
good
the
to
field.
know that it's not a serious injury, and he's back out and about. Shows that the effort that the players are putting in out there, and the intensity of the play.
And Jackson, despite a couple of sprints up and down the sideline, won't take the field. Clearly, Pete Hempel, Lorna Barr.
Yeah, look, they're definitely calling some lines now. Canberra Freeze, they want certain players on the field for this defensive point. Whereas Perth are just continuing with their two-set line rotation. With Carlo firing it to Alex Gann. Oh, Murray Young in an acre of space. Mazurai puts it up, but just no float on it.
That's the second or third time Murray Young has got a fair bit of separation on Wallace. Maybe not the matchup Freeze needs on that player.
Yeah, potentially, but gee, the old let the player go deep so the throwers overthrow it.
Yeah, Wallace is playing mind games with Mazurai right now.
She's wily, Wallace. She's been around for a while. She knows how to play this game.
Played a lot of Ultimate in Adelaide in her time. Moore having to work very hard. Nothing opening up. Has to shoot late, low and fast.
No one.
As all the rest of the players on the field streamed deep away from him.
Oh, and that's a big throw.
Oh, and redemption!
It's the matchup again.
There's few better ways to guarantee yourself a block than get Gavin Moore to throw it away.
Oh, Eunice Chung, just too much sit and float. Enough time for Gavin Moore to come through and get a touch on it. And he picks up the disc again. Well, he'll be hoping for a bit more movement this time. Monty cuts deep, but it's from the back of the stack, not where you want those deep cuts to be coming.
And this is where Freeze feels the absence of Andrew Jackson the most. Cal Spillman can't get in front.
Yeah, for
Good
a
use of the
big
body by
guy,
Carlo.
yeah, Carlo does not have the height advantage on that matchup and does a great job.
Finds McInnes inside. Full centred again. They're operating out of a vertical stack, which seems to be their default offensive look as Gan goes deep. Things start to slow down. Freeze start to exert a bit more pressure defensively.
Oh, puts it up the line to Mazrai. They're on the scoreboard. It's 3-1.
And
It seems like a replay of set 1 at the moment. Canberra getting out to that early lead. Can Perth replicate the end result? That's the question.
the cramping on Jackson seems to have dictated to the Canberra coaches that he'll be playing offense now, which definitely leaves that defensive line maybe a little bit short on those handlers that are able to control the play once they've earned themselves a turnover. So we saw them struggle a couple of times there, making things happen.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see where he slots in here, because it's been Dowell and O'Neill at the back. Do they bring Jackson back and put O'Neill upfield? It doesn't look to be that way. They're continuing with their handlers at the back of Dowell and O'Neill.
They'll operate out of a horizontal setup. Dawson and Lavis in the centre. It looks like it'll be Dawson that'll be first to move. Just head straight deep, keeps it simple. Dow doesn't want the throw. Instead, makes Lavis work for it. And that's a turnover. Cheap one outside the end zone.
Oh, there we go.
One pass.
Early to who else but Shepherd.
And we're getting shades of the first set right now.
Yes.
3-0 up, and they're pulling it back.
That's exactly the message that Howden will be pumping out to his troops. Here we go. It's just like set one.
Now keep the same 6 on the field. And Perth will continue their systematic process, no deviation of alternating between their two lines every point. I guess it does guarantee an evenly shared workload among the players and keeps everyone as fresh as possible. Dow through the centre to Dawson. Finds Lavis. Jackson going deep.
Oh,
Lavis thinks better of it. Back to Dow in the centre and O'Neill. O'Neill can't find
Looks off
Dow.
Dow. Eunice Chung doing a great defensive effort there on Matt Dow in the dump position. Dawson looking for Dow. And that's where that matchup comes a little unstuck.
He's 6'4" or 6'5". Towers over Eunice Chung. And Dawson does well to throw to his advantage.
Yeah, we'll have a look at it on the... You can do 3-play. Up it goes. Floaty, high. Matt Dow, you do the rest. And he does. Keeps it in.
4-2 up. Canberra steady the ship. Stem the bleeding. But there's plenty of ultimate left to be played in this set and in this match.
You just have to stay within reach, really, and anything can happen at the end of the set. That's what makes this format so exciting. But you have to stay in touch. So Perth really need to come out and score this one.
This last set effectively worth 2 championship points for whichever team can come away with it. Copland has to dump back to Shepherd. Not a lot opening up for him.
Really comes in.
They've got players very deep.
Yeah, Shepherd moving away from the disc and comes back in. He's got his hammer cocked. But he's going to throw it across to Copland. Ryan very free, but some conservatism creeping in.
And it looks like a bit of confusion about the force.
That was almost too easy.
They wanted a backhand force on Shepherd as he rifles a forehand for a goal.
Well, 4-3.
Shaking of the head among Canberra Freeze. Are the cracks starting to show?
Well, the Perth offense have done their job, and now they'll really be hoping that their defensive unit can pull something out here to take it to a tied ball game.
Peter Hempel and Lorna Barr. A few furrowed brows after that point. I wonder at this late stage, you know, what kind of impact can a coach have in this shortened format where they have limited interaction with their teams? What kind of words of wisdom are they providing to the Canberra Freeze right now?
It's more a case of whether these jaded, aging players on the team are going to take any advice from their coaches regardless. As Lavis takes the disc. Back to Dow.
Finds Dawson. Turton coming underneath.
Does a nice job.
And Dow, big swing to Lavis, a couple of metres out. Dawson marked by 2. Where's the poach?
Jackson's free.
Lavis can't get in the disc. Now he pops one up. And that'll probably be a foul
call.
call.
A foul, yeah. Again, reaching over the top.
On first look, I'd probably agree with Jackson. But we'll have a...
Yeah, it's a hard one.
Yeah.
I think Gann did as well as he possibly could to avoid contact. But Jackson definitely saying, I felt you on my back, pushing me out of position.
They will get the game advisors involved. We'll see if we're able to hear what they're saying. So an uncontested foul. Game advisors providing their perspective, not binding in any way, but more often than not, players tend to go with what the game advisors' perspective is. And the disc never lies. It's Monty Mazurai.
And he puts it up for Gann to run it down into the end zone. Oh, the Perth team are off their bench onto the field.
And Canberra Freeze is stunned.
It's 4 apiece. And with 4 minutes to go, this is a pearler. This is an absolute pearler.
Call your mummies and your daddies and your aunties and your uncles. This is one to watch.
Well, who's your money on here, Max? Where's the momentum sitting?
Look, I'm a Canberra local. There's only one way I was ever going to fall on this one. And that's with Canberra. But Perth have shown that this set is starting to look very similar to the first set where they came out on top. As Dow and O'Neill play catch. Dawson in the centre.
They've got their loose junk zone on. And at the moment it's getting shredded. Dawson
She looks
puts
for
up to
Turton.
Turton. This will be our first look at the British superstar.
God
She's
save the Queen,
bringing it
baby!
down.
5-4 Canberra. Rachel Turton.
Oh, showing that she's no English Rose. She's not afraid to get up there. Oh, wow. It was a risky import. She's only been in the country less than 48 hours.
She's barely cleared customs and she's importing contraband like that throw. That catch, I should say.
Yeah, wow.
Get a look at this on the Yikun disc replay.
Dawson, she saw her going and had no hesitation. Up it goes. Simone Ryan is a great read of the disc, but Turton she had no right to that disc in the end, but she plucks it out.
Look, great grab. Would have liked a little more in the way of a spike or a celebration. A bit, room for improvement in that department.
It's the English way.
Understated.
Understated.
Yeah, that's right. No, very, very impressive catch. Exactly when her team needed it too. Canberra still in the driver's seat.
Whoa.
Murray Young fires one down again.
Jeez. Well, just when she needed to produce a flat forehand, she does just that. It's not usually in her arsenal. There's usually a bit more of a blade than that, but that's a rocket down the side.
Oh my God, this is the best game all day, right? We've got 2 minutes remaining.
1.5 minutes. I'm going to go 1.5 we've got. Oh, 5 apiece. So just remind us again, if we're locked up when that time cap goes, we play the point and it's game over.
That's correct.
And if they're within 1, so if let's say Canberra do their job here on offense and score, and then the time cap goes, we go in again.
We play that next point, and if Canberra extends their lead to 2, game over.
Oh, gee.
But if it's brought back to evens, then we'll play a universe point. So,
oh, gee.
Lots at stake.
There's a lot at stake here.
And no room for error.
Who's going to handle it the best? Dawson.
Oh, maybe not Abby Dawson is the answer.
I just don't think you want her putting those throws from that part of the field, and now Power sitting in the... Oh!
Helen Spielman had a sniff on that one. Copland doesn't like what he sees. Spielman playing some hustle defense on Alex Shepherd. Put him under a lot of pressure.
Nothing moving downfield. It's got to be a hammer, right?
And as time draws on, if the time cap goes before this goal is scored and then Perth score, it's game over.
Oh,
we may have
there's
a foul.
A foul call there. Definitely, that disc looked a bit wiggly coming out. It's uncontested, and time is ticking away.
Maybe Abby Dawson feeling confident after that last backhand put. Yes. Thought she'd try out the flick. And time cap has gone, which means this is universe point.
This is it.
Whoever scores this goal takes all the chips. Both teams all in on this point. Dawson stands off the mark. Lavis tightens up on Ely. Has to concede more ground to Jessup, marked by O'Neill.
Oh, she puts a nice throw to Ryan. She's powering through. Ryan looks her off. There's a nice switch by the Canberra women.
O'Neill,
she puts
hammer
it
over
up.
the top. Timocles Copland.
It's a score.
Very muted reactions from the players on the field.
It's a score. It's a goal.
And it's the game, I believe. Time cap went during that point, which meant it was universe point. It is 6-5 to Perth, 2 sets to 1.
Perth Power, take a bow. What a game. What a game. Max Howden said it to his troops in set 1. Let's pretend this is set 3. They came out with it. They had a stumble in set 2 as Canberra asserted their experience and dominance and came back to their favourite set 3, and they took it home, held their nerve. Simone Ryan, I think it's fitting that it finishes with an overhead to Copland.
And that was an emotional roller coaster. A third set that looked a lot like the first, with a big Canberra lead and a big Perth comeback. But wowee, that's a great game. And it's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining us. My name's been Max Stenstrom. I've been joined by Sarah Crossy, and we look forward to seeing you next time.